Hey troops, GeneralJSmith here, back with another LEGO Star Wars Summer 2017 set building review. This time I'm back with Darth Vader Transformation, set number 75183, ages 7 to 12, comes with 282 pieces and will be retained for £20 or $25. So, as many people agree, this is certainly one of the more anticipated sets of this new line. This is one that a lot of people said they want to pick up, and in fact, even before I built it, I recommend you pick this up as well, because I am very excited to open this set up. With the minifigures and the price for the piece, this is certainly a very nice addition to anyone's LEGO Star Wars collection. And in fact, I would say it's kind of overdue, because of course we did get a Darth Vader Transformation, I think back in 2009 or something, with the Comic-Con exclusive. That set, of course, wasn't exclusive to Comic-Con, and thus is extremely expensive on eBay right now, but this is certainly a very nice addition to your LEGO Star Wars collection, because of course it is based off an iconic scene in the prequel trilogy, one of the most iconic scenes in the entire Star Wars saga. And in fact, I go as far as say that I don't really know why it took LEGO so long to make it, considering how many people have wanted this set for so long. Nonetheless, let's go now and build Darth Vader Transformation. I cannot wait to open it up. Darth Vader we have seen before, of course, but the Anakin Skywalker and Emperor Palpatine are fairly rare, and of course the medical droids and everything, I just cannot wait to open it. It's going to be so cool. With that being said, let's go now and build Darth Vader Transformation. The build was simple enough, of course what you'd expect for a set of this size and piece count, although having it in hand now, I will say that it's actually a little bit smaller than I originally thought, similar to the Republic fighter tank, specifically in the area which is meant for like the minifigures around the edge here. I'm not sure if it's just the way it was framed on the box art, but for some reason it just feels slightly more cramped, like there isn't as much space that you can put minifigures around the edge here, especially with this sort of station here and that droid over there on that side, and especially when this comes down, which I'll show you of course in a minute, there really does not feel like a lot of space to put other minifigures, although I suppose there isn't really meant to be that many other minifigures present. Nonetheless, with that being said, simple build, really didn't take that long, about half an hour, and with that being said, let's now move on to Emperor Palpatine. The first minifigure is Emperor Palpatine, this time without his Force Lightning, whereas in most other sets we've got him in, he does come with Force Lightning, of course, because that is kind of his signature weapon. This time we do get a gold hilted lightsaber though, which is quite nice, and of course he doesn't really use any sort of lightning or anything in this particular scene, so it does make more sense. Nonetheless, Emperor Palpatine then, a very nice minifigure, of course, one that I think any real Star Wars fan should certainly have at least one of. Fortunately, he does come in a pretty cheap set, i.e. this set, although he does also come in the DK book, I think from a couple years ago. I can't remember which book it was, but it was some sort of book we got a chance Palpatine in as well, so still quite nice to see him again. He's still a fairly rare minifigure from what I would say. Most of the sets we get him in are fairly large, obviously apart from this set and the DK book. But nonetheless, so looking at him, I don't believe he's new in any way. If he is, it's very subtly new. We've got some basic leg printing down here, just the white lines to give the wrinkles, as well as on the torso as well. Removing his hood, because it does sort of block his face quite a bit. You can see there's also some fairly basic printing on the torso, as you can see there. Quite nice, sort of goes on the torso from the legs, as you can see. That kind of, not really belt buckle, but what would you call that? That sort of thing around his neck, maybe some sort of chain or some sort of symbol there. It's quite nice. We've got two-sided face. This is, of course, his regular kind of evil face, whereas this is kind of more evil, you know, using his Force Lightning kind of face, which is quite nice. The back has no back printing. It's very basic, although, of course, with the cape, there's really nothing too special. Of course, this is the new fabric of cape. You can sort of see through it a little, which is a good way to tell from the new fabric from the old fabric. So you can kind of see through it a little, if you can see there. But yeah, overall then, of course, if you can't tell, his skin tone is slightly different from just the regular flesh tone. Comparing to the Anakin, which I'll show you more in a second, you can see he has the regular flesh tone, and this one is significantly more, if you will, greenish, maybe sort of similar more to Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, I would say. But still, to my knowledge, not a particularly new minifigure in terms of the printing. Is more or less the exact same we have seen in other Chancellor Palpatines. But if you did not manage to get him in other sets, because as I said, some of the other sets he comes in are fairly expensive, this is certainly a very good and nice cheap way to get Chancellor Palpatine. And as I said, really, if you're into the original trilogy, or if you're into Star Wars more or less in any way, you should certainly have at least one Emperor Palpatine in your collection, because he's one of the most iconic characters in all of Star Wars. And with that being said, now move on to arguably the most iconic character, Darth Vader. Next up we have the one and only Darth Vader. This being Darth Vader's transformation, it of course makes somewhat sense that we do get a Darth Vader within this set. This particular variant of Darth Vader we have seen a few times before. I think since 2015 is when this new helmet mold came in, and I'm pretty sure just like Emperor Palpatine, he is no different to other incarnations we have seen in some previous sets, although just like Emperor Palpatine, at least we do get him in this cheaper set. So if somehow you have managed to not pick up a Darth Vader from any other set, this is a good, nice, cheap way to get him. Nonetheless, as I said, he's the exact same Darth Vader we've seen before. He does of course come with a lightsaber, but I will show you that later on in the set, because there's nothing any different to what we've seen before. The legs, of course, as you can see there, you've got some white markings that represent the wrinkles, as well as the torso is also the same with the console piece, the little armor there, as well as some more white wrinkles as well, which is quite nice. Moving on to the back, he doesn't come with any back bling, just like Chancellor Palpatine, but of course he doesn't really need to with this cape as well. And of course they're the same fabric as Chancellor Palpatine's with the kind of more see-through sort of thing there. The helmet, I'm still on the fence on whether I like this helmet or the previous helmet more. Leave down in the comments which version of the helmet you like more. Of course, there is a bit of complaint that this one kind of tilts a little bit upwards. Like if you can sort of see it, like, I'm trying to put them as straight as possible. You can see the eyes maybe slightly look upwards. It's a bit odd, and some people say this helmet is too big for the rest of the body. But I'm still on the fence about it. One of the better things about this helmet is the fact it does come apart in two pieces. I really love that feature as well. Of course, we get the regular face here, which actually is the exact same face as we got on the other Anakin, which I'll show you in a second. The other minifigure we get with the set. But yes, that's quite nice. He doesn't come, I mean, he does come more back printing on like the back of his head, but it doesn't come with a double-sided face, if that makes sense. But yeah, more or less, quite nice little minifigure, nothing we haven't seen before, as I said. And of course, he does come with a lightsaber. But yeah, that is Darth Vader, two Darth Vader's transformation, and if by some whatever miracle you actually have managed not to get one in your entire LEGO Star Wars collection, this is a nice cheap way to get Darth Vader. The final official minifigure to this set is Anakin Skywalker. This of course is the Anakin Skywalker from the end of Revenge of the Sith, just after his battle with Obi-Wan and just before he's put in the suit where he's all messed up and burnt. Now, as I said in my review of Darth Vader just now, he does have the same face printing. I kind of wish this one was slightly different. Maybe this can be more like sort of screaming face, because really, of course, in the actual scene, he was significantly more pain, whereas this face kind of looks more sort of calm about it. I think this face works a lot better in the suit, whereas a sort of screaming, kind of in pain face would have been better for this particular minifigure. Nonetheless, we have had a few different versions of Anakin Skywalker in this sort of thing. I believe we came with one in like the Palpatine's shuttle thing, I'm not entirely sure. But this is the first time for me, and I believe this is a new minifigure. It might be new in a few different ways. I'm not entirely sure about that though. Nonetheless, the torso, the leg printing down here is quite nice. Of course, we've got the tatters of what remains from his Jedi robes in his fight with Obi-Wan, along with the sort of more scarring and that kind of stuff there. One thing I will say, commend LEGO on, is normally they're not very good at printing lighter colours onto darker shades, but they've managed to print this sort of skin tone onto the darker grey quite well. I actually will commend them on that, as well as on the torso here. The torso is actually black, but they've managed to print on this sort of flesh tone there. It is slightly darker than his actual like skin tone or like, you know, flesh tone here, but still I think it does look quite good and really does represent, you know, the sort of scene very well. You can see his sort of robotic arm there, although, you know, it doesn't show him very well, as well as sort of more flesh hand there and just all that stuff. Although I will be honest, I'm not entirely sure why this hand is actually in the grey, because of course this hand is not meant to be robotic, but nonetheless. Anyway, so you can see in the back here, it also got some very nice back printings, which also goes along with the very nice back head printing, which is very, very good, all around nice minifigure. Of course, this minifigure isn't incredibly useful. It's not as if you can use this minifigure in many different ways. Really, it's only meant to be in this one scene ever. Still, if you do not have it, which, you know, you may not have it, because I think he's only come in like 1 or 2 sets in the past, it's still a nice minifigure to add to your collection. I'm glad I picked it up in the end. But yeah, very nice little minifigure. The only real new one here, and definitely one worth adding to your collection if you can pick it up. Now let's move on to, in my opinion, the last minifigure of this set, even though the set doesn't class as a minifigure, the medical droid thing. And finally, while the box itself does not actually class this as a minifigure, I'm going to class it as a minifigure because I feel it kind of goes more as a minifigure than an actual part of the set. We have here one of the medical droids, which is a very nice little build. You may think it'd just be a simple build similar to the assassin's droids, where it's more or less just a battle droid's kind of body with kind of a slightly different head. But in reality, no. In reality, it's a completely different build, and it's actually quite cool. Now, of course, the legs are the standard sort of battle droid sort of things, but the way it attaches to the body, it's all brick built, and of course, the arms are also just standard battle droids, but still, more or less everything else is completely brick built, and you've also got this little thing in the back here, which is, well, I don't know how else to describe it rather than just a tail, because I really have no idea what other words to call it. But I assume it's meant to be some sort of like third arm or something to grab onto things behind it, which I guess is quite cool. And really, just all in all, it's a very nice little design. Nothing, of course, too complicated. I guess it'd be kind of nice if it came with a bit more printing, similar to the assassin droids. But really, it's just a little thing to go with the set, and I think it does work quite well. It works very well with the other sort of probe. Well, it looks like a pro droid to me, but the sort of medical droid that also goes along with this set. But yeah, just a little thing I thought I'd go over. I thought it'd be quite nice to show it, and that's more or less it. Nice little design. I'm glad LEGO added it in. After all, it was, you know, it is a medical scene, so yeah. That is it then to all the minifigures from the set. Let's now move on to Darth Vader's transformation. While I do not have the previous version of this set, I can safely say this is a significant improvement upon that, mainly down to the size. The previous version was only like £10 or so, and only was about the size of a small battle pack, whereas this one is significantly larger. That being said, however, it still is quite small within its own right. Doing a quick comparison between this and the Republic fighter tank, you can see, and of course, if you saw my review of this, you'll know how I feel about the size of this set. You can see here, it really is not much larger. It's probably more or less the same size. And in fact, once you put this section down, which of course is the main feature I'll show in a second, and once you've got the droids, the minifigures and all that, there really is not a massive amount of space around the edge here for anything else, like other sort of medical droids or anything else you want to put along there. With that being said, I could really see if you buy a few of these, you can really combine them and make them a larger scene. Similar to the, I think it was a freezing chamber from like a year ago, so I'm not entirely sure, but it was a Winterline set. I think it was like the carbon freezing chamber, which many people would get several of them and make it a much larger thing. I can see people doing the same with this set. Nonetheless, moving on, you can see here on this, you've got two of these on either side. One of them, you got this sort of thing which attaches only by a single stud because there's a bit of feature that I'll show in a second. This is kind of a, I suppose a bay, almost like a weapons holding thing, although it seems a bit weird to have a weapons holding thing in a set like this, nonetheless. As I said at the beginning, you do get a lightsaber for Chancellor Palpatine as well as Darth Vader, of course. Funny enough, you actually do get another gold hilt as well, which is actually very, very nice. You get 2 gold hilts in the set, although of course, Chancellor Palpatine by this point I think only has 1 lightsaber. I think he lost one in his fight in Mace Windu. You also get a sort of a medical pro droid type thing here. We have seen these sort of things similar to before, although I don't think you've ever seen them in sort of like medical fashion. They're more just like stormtroopers or that kind of thing. Very simple design, of course, what you can see here, really nothing too special about it. On the other side, we get a more sort of medical droid. This is very reminiscent of course, what we saw in Episode 3 with the many arms going around. Of course, this is what Darth Vader crushed when he finally woke up from his, you know, operation, I suppose. But of course, you can see you've got sort of these sort of light, sort of bulb sort of things and all these sort of tools. Not really appropriate for sort of medical droid to have a drill, but hey, you know, whatever. You can notice here, by the way, this sort of thing here, this is a bit of a feature. In my opinion, not a very good feature, but you know, it's alright for what it is. Well, it's just really good. It really doesn't depend which way you go. You can go this way or that way, but you just put it down like so, and it kind of flies off like so, which is quite cool. Of course, it is reminiscent of how Darth Vader kind of crushed them with his hand and used the Force and all that good stuff. But of course, the same system on either side, so you can just swap them over if you so choose. And by the way, if you didn't notice, this can sort of swivel if, you know, you care. Moving on, I suppose, then to the main feature, really. There's only really one main feature. You got this knob here, which you can both turn. Oh, if you can turn it properly, it won't turn. What's wrong with this thing? Okay, so I've just realised a bit of a flaw with this feature, not really a flaw, but rather a design sort of thing, where you got to pull it out first, and of course, as you can see there, when you pull it out, it does sort of fold down, just like Darth Vader, then you can turn it. You can't turn it while it's still sort of in that position, because of course, this gets in the way. So you have to pull it out first, of course, Darth Vader or Anakin would be in this section, and then you turn it around. Now, of course, if you can't grasp what it really looks like, Darth Vader or Anakin would be on this stud, and then of course, the other one will be on the other stud, and you can simply put it down, turn around, and, you know, there you go, works simple. Although there is a bit more than this, as you can see in the back, here's a bit of a mechanism. We've got these kind of rubber things which are very nice right here. I'll just try to take his helmet off like so, and put it in here like so. And you can see that it fits quite snugly, nothing, you know, too special. But, you know, it stays there compared to gravity. But if, you know, shake it about, it'll probably, you know, fall off or something. Still, if I can quickly put Darth Vader in there like so, just ignore the fact his cape is all wrinkled up, but whatever. And you can sort of just fold this in like so. It takes a bit of maneuvering, but, and of course this just slides very simply, you know, there's nothing really keeping you there other than just gravity. And there we go. Wasn't exactly the most smooth system in the world, but you know, it still works, which is quite nice. And of course, that is the main feature. And as I said, if you couldn't really grasp it before, Darth Vader would be there, and Anakin would be on the other side, and it's more sort of a play feature to sort of, you know, give the impression like, oh, he's turning to Darth Vader, which is quite nice. A little thing to note is that while Anakin or Darth Vader is on there, it does become a bit top heavy, this particular piece, so you really just push it in all the way. Like if you just keep it like this, it probably will just like fall down because of gravity, because of the weight of the minifigure. But still, that is more as it then to this set. A very nice build, as I said at the beginning. Really not a massive amount to go over. Of course, for a £20 set, it's nothing really you could expect too much. Really, what you see is what you get, and it's very nice for what it is. I do like the little feature here, although you can press it down and it kind of just flick out. That's a little thing that Lego added, which they didn't really have to add. But yeah, it's quite a nice little thing. And for £20, really, you can't go wrong. It's a nice little set, and I think there's a reason why the most of the Lego community really looking forward to this set. Because yeah, of course, there's not a massive amount to it. I suppose it's really cool to make like a giant scene of this, but you know, for what it is, it's a good set. That being said, let's now move on to instructions, the box, and include my review of Darth Vader Transformation. The instruction manual also what you expect for a set of this size. I believe it's doing about half an hour to build, which of course for 280-ish pieces is really what you would expect. Moving straight to the back, we of course have the 2 pages of inventory right here, as well as the promotion for Lego Live, which I think we've been getting every instruction manual for about the last year or so. We also get 2 construction figures. These reviews will be coming literally just after this review, so stay tuned to watch them. Cannot wait to open those sets. I know it's been a little while since I've done any reviews, but still. We've got here the minifigures, which of course come with every set of this line. Hopefully I will get most of these. I already have most of these already made, but still hope you get the rest very soon, as well as all the sets. I probably will not be reviewing that. I probably will not be reviewing that. I will not be reviewing that, but all these other sets have been reviewed, and you can watch them on my channel right now if you so desire. And as well, we have on the back here 69 pages of build. So yeah, that is in the instruction manual. Let's go now on to the box. Just like the instruction manual, the box is also what we expect for a set of this size, the same sort of size as the Republic fighter tank box. Of course, on the back has the main feature, which I just went over. There's only really one main feature, but there are a few other others. That of course being the fact that Darth Vader's helmet does sort of come down, which is quite nice there, as you can see. Although of course there's enough feature where you can sort of see Darth Vader using the Force there, and it kind of, you know, pushes the droids all over the place, you know, give the impression he's crushing them kind of thing, as well as it does sort of flip around there. I know my box opening skills aren't exactly brilliant, but you know, hey, whatever. Actually, funny enough, from this sort of art and the way it sort of looks, I think it actually looks really cool. It looks really like a full kind of set. Almost looks bigger than it actually is. I don't know what it is really, but just like the way when you have it in hand, you kind of understand what I mean. It just really looks significantly bigger on the box than it feels. I mean, not significantly bigger, but you know, reasonably bigger. But anyway, that is it then to my review of Darth Vader's Transformation. Hope you did enjoy it, and now it's going to now include my review of Darth Vader Transformation. Thank you for watching my review of the Darth Vader Transformation 75183. If you did enjoy it, please do give it a like down below. As I've said throughout this review, this is certainly one of the best sets of this line, although as many people argue, this line hasn't been incredibly good, but this is definitely one of the best sets of it, which is surprising considering how small it is. And if anything, I'd say that's probably the biggest downside of this set. It is so small. And I don't just mean, like, of course, the set itself for the price, because I think for the price, it is the correct size. I mean, in general, I would have loved a larger version of this set, although, of course, I understand that, you know, there are some other larger sets I'm making. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. And this is kind of why I'm a little annoyed they made the Arrowhead and the Tracker 1 as the biggest sets of this line, when not that many people really care about those sets. These are the sort of sets you really want bigger versions of. Maybe not the same sort of size as like the Arrowhead, but certainly a bigger version. I think this is one of the best places for mock builders to come in, buy a few more of these and really make a larger version of it. I can certainly see a larger version of this scene happening. That being said, it's still a good set and still worth the money, and I feel if you're into Lego Star Wars, or just Star Wars in general, you should really pick this up, because it's definitely one of the most iconic scenes in the entire Star Wars phenomenon, really, because of course it is when Anakin turns into the one and only Darth Vader, and of course the previous version of this set goes for a crazy amount on eBay right now, so this is definitely one of the best places if you want to get these minifigures, want to get the set, want to get the whole thing. Overall, a great set and definitely worth picking up, as many people will agree. That is it then to my review of this set. I hope you did enjoy it, and I will see you next time in my next review. The next 2 reviews will be on the construction sets, and then after that I'll be doing the Jedi Starfighter Hyperdrive, and that'll be it until the Last Jedi set's coming. But yeah, so hopefully I'll be getting more into reviews. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I've done my last review. That's because of work and other things, but nonetheless, that is it then to this review. I hope you did enjoy it, and I'll see you next time in my next review. Bye, troops. Even before I built this set, I'm going to recommend that you pick this up as... And it's only taken until now for them to make a full-size set. A fully full-size set, really? This is, some would say, an overdue, it is a little bit smaller than what I originally... Nonetheless, this particular version of Emperor Palpatine, he does come with some sort of Force lightning, although in this time, Death Star final dual set to my knowledge, but still we've seen a few kind of points a little bit upwards, although I suppose the minifigure itself which did come in 2 pieces. We can see there we got the final version of him, but just before, so as I said, just before my but you know, it's alright. I mean, of course, you know, it doesn't really my hand can easily fit all under it, and just getting I can safely say this is significant improvement. So while it's not exactly extremely large, it is certainly served. God damn it. As well as sort of promotion for Lego Life things. Since we used to every instruction manual for the last year or so. Got Lego Life. That's that. The actual box art does actually look really cool. This is a quite nice feature, really. And shit. Some people got a few of those and put them.